Eyewitness News, everywhere you are. Time now for your forecast first on Eyewitness News, ABC 25.
A seasonally chilly March evening under clear skies. Temperatures now in the low 40s. Will wind up in the low 30s by daybreak tomorrow. First day of astronomical spring with wall-to-wall sunshine. It'll be warmer and not nearly as windy as today, with high temperatures topping out in the lower 60s. And even warmer than that on Sunday. In my forecast next on Eyewitness News at 10.
Live from the ABC 25 studio, this is Eyewitness News at 10.
We begin with a demotion and the race to be the next sheriff of Vanderburgh County, a move with possible political implications. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Shelley Kirk.
Hello, I'm Brad Bird. Noah Robinson, one of two Democratic candidates running for Vanderburgh County Sheriff, says current Sheriff Dave Wedding demoted him to the rank of lieutenant. From your local election headquarters tonight, Robinson says this was because of an attack ad on his rival, Major Jason Ashworth. Robinson says he didn't know about the ad. Sheriff Wedding tells Eyewitness News the recent political campaigning has caused stress and tension in the office. Wedding says moving Robinson out of the chief deputy position was best to get things back to normal. Wedding says he will not pick a new chief deputy and the position will be temporarily vacated. Both candidates are Democrats, but Wedding is supporting Ashworth.
While many are thinking about basketball in the middle of March Madness, the state of Illinois is just getting started with high school football. Eyewitness News' Jill Wilderman has more from Albion, Illinois.
Football is back in Illinois, and I spoke to the players and the coach prior to the game, and they say while it's been difficult to watch nearby states have the opportunity for a traditional football season, it's motivated them to take to the field here tonight at Edwards County High School.
It is an exciting day. We've been waiting on this since August.
1 year into the pandemic, and things in Edwards County are starting to ease back into some normalcy in a community that's hungry for some Friday night football.
Well, a lot of anticipation, looking forward to it. I'm glad it's finally underway, and I think the community is really excited to finally get to watch some football.
My senior year's encountered a lot of issues and problems and with COVID, and we've missed out on a lot, so I'm just excited that we're finally getting to play. And
we're going to get 6 games. So, I keep telling the kids it's not perfect. We'd love to have a chance for the playoffs and things like that, but, we're at least getting to play.
I mean, at first I was kind of upset about it, but right now I'm just glad we're playing.
There were a few other noticeable differences tonight, but no one seemed to be bothered.
Yeah, we have to still play with some kind of face mask on. We've got something that hooks to the face mask of the helmet, so it's not tight or super tight to their face.
The social distancing with our crowd, with the bleacher situation, of course the officials are masked as well also. So lots of little details just to make sure that we're following all the guidelines.
Players and cheerleaders also had just 2 tickets to give away.
well, I gave one to my mom, and my dad's running the chain gang tonight, and then my other one goes to my grandfather so he can come watch.
Tonight's football game marked the first athletic event other than junior high softball in which fans could come and attend. In Albion, Illinois, Jill Wilderman, Eyewitness News.
On March 19th, 2020, the first 3 tri-state cases of COVID-19 were reported in Vanderburgh, Henderson, and Davis counties. Just more than 2 weeks later, the Hopkins County Health Department reported a 77-year-old man was the first Kentuckian in our area to fall victim and die from the virus. Then in April, Vanderburgh County lost its first resident to coronavirus, and in Illinois, a Wayne County resident died. And as of today, more than 1,500 people in the tri-state have died from COVID-19 since last March.
Well, over the past year, more than 62,000 tri-staters have been diagnosed with COVID-19. But there is some positive news today. More than 32,000 tri-staters have recovered from the virus. And we do want to mention that that number is likely to be higher. Some of our Indiana counties don't even report recoveries. But the state of Indiana recently celebrated giving its 1 millionth dose of the COVID vaccine.
Eyewitness News' Brandon Bartlett talked with Kentucky's top official about the progress made this past year. Brandon?
Well, Brad and Shelley, just as the first cases of the coronavirus were announced in the tri-state, I spoke with Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear. On Wednesday, 1 year later, I spoke with the governor again to find out where we stand, what has changed, and what we've learned. When we talked a year ago, many of my questions to you then were, should businesses close now? Should schools close now? Should the state close now? You told me then that people shouldn't focus on the speed of closing or reopening, but rather focus on being smart about the way those decisions are made. With what you know now, were we smart?
Well, we know so much more about a virus today that didn't even exist until the very end of 2019, and we didn't see in this state until March. With our current knowledge, if we could go back in time, we'd have a mask mandate that was earlier. We would have known that monoclonal antibodies can significantly help in the treatment of this. Remember, we had no testing when we started out and only one lab. We then moved eventually to testing for everybody and created the national model used for testing. When it began, there probably wasn't hope that within a year we'd have multiple effective vaccines. So it's hard to look back given how much difference a year can make. But here's what I'd say: this has been a war. When you lose 5,000 people, what you're involved in is a war, and that means at each point we were making battlefield decisions, and it means we made the best decisions with the information we had based on the conditions on the ground. And I feel comfortable that we did the very best we could with what we had at any given time.
Over 5,000 Kentuckians have now lost their lives because of the coronavirus, and you have asked Kentuckians to turn on a green light at night to remember those who have lost their lives. And I can tell you, I have seen several green porch lights here in our area. But you also want a more permanent memorial to the victims of the coronavirus. Talk about what you would like to see built on the grounds of the Capitol there in Frankfort.
That's why our Capitol dome has been green almost every day for a year, and every time I look out of where I live, here in Frankfort, I see it as that reminder, just like I see the 5,000 flags we've planted to honor them. Now, what we're looking for is something permanent right here at the Capitol, where people can take their kids or their grandkids and tell them about that special person that this pandemic took, but also tell them about the special people that fought to save lives, and our healthcare workers, how we banded together, those green lights, the bells at 10 a.m., but living for each other, a rediscovering of compassion and our connectivity. The fact that every decision that we've made during this has impacted other people. I mean, we focus some on the negative, but we've had millions of heroes every day in the Commonwealth just by foregoing things that we used to like doing. And because of that, more people are alive than otherwise would have been. That's something special we want to remember at the same time that we grieve.
Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear, good to see you again. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us tonight.
Thank you, and I love that set being green. It means a lot to a lot of people.
And the governor there referring to us making our set green for that interview in honor of those who have lost their lives to COVID. Well, that was just 3 minutes of my nearly 20-minute interview with the governor. We also talked about the state's vaccine supply, problems with the state's unemployment system, and what Kentucky plans to do with its nearly $2.5 billion from the new COVID relief bill. You can watch my full interview right now on our website, tristatehomepage.com. Brad?
All right, thanks a lot, Brandon. Putting a face on the numbers. Here's one. Earlier tonight, I talked to longtime Evansville broadcast and media figure Joe Blair, who tested positive for COVID. Well, Joe spent time in the hospital 5 weeks last fall and faced a day of reckoning. We have Joe's conversation with me on our website, tristatehomepage.com. The biggest moments, the long days and nights still ahead in our coronavirus special coverage, the pandemic news clips that tell the Tri-State story. But first, we take a break and hear what Wayne has to say about a pretty nice weekend coming up.
Get the highest rated local weather app from the App Store today. Now, from your weather authority, Chief Meteorologist Wayne Hart.
Well, we had an active week of weather, and now things are calming down just in time for the weekend, and then things will get active again next week, though the severe threat doesn't look quite as significant as what we kind of flirted with for a couple of days this week. But here are the numbers from today. I know it was pretty windy out there, but all in all, temperatures were pretty close to average. And as we head through the weekend, we'll keep them pretty close to normal until Sunday afternoon. And that's when we'll trend on the warm side of average, and we'll keep it there through much of next week. Here are the highs from today, generally in the mid-50s. Average highs this time of the year are 55 to 60. We'll be in the low 60s across the area tomorrow. On a dry weekend on the way, live first warning Doppler radar should stay that way until probably Tuesday. Now, this week we did have a little bit of a brush with a threat for severe weather. Fortunately, it stayed to our south. We're still prepping for our primary severe weather season, which starts in April. And a big change the Weather Service is making this year is basically adding a couple of new categories to the severe thunderstorm warning. The basic one is going to stay the same. Winds of at least 58 miles per hour and or quarter-size hail, you get a severe thunderstorm warning. But if the winds get up to 70 and or the hail gets to golf ball size, it gets a considerable tag put on it. And if you get winds of 80 miles per hour and or baseball-size hail, it's a destructive severe thunderstorm warning. That's the type of warning we would have used during the June 8th storms back here many years ago. Those were straight line winds over 80 miles per hour. And this may give communities a little more information as to when they want to sound their sirens, because you probably don't want sirens going off for just quarter-size hail. But certainly if you get a considerable or destructive event, you want to make sure everybody is aware of that. That will begin, it looks like, late to the spring or early summer, so stay tuned for more on that. Rivers are rising again, but the Ohio will stay below flood stage. Here in Evansville, going to 32.8 on Wednesday, but minor flooding on the Wabash. Mount Carmel is going to go to 21.5 a week from today. Minor flooding on the White. Petersburg will go to 20 feet on Wednesday, and minor flooding continues on the Little Wabash at Carmi with a crest around 31 feet on Tuesday night. There's the Ohio passing downtown Owensboro this evening on our Kincaid Insurance Group tower camera. Our downtown Zemer Funeral Home tower camera looking past the top of the old Vanderburgh County Courthouse. You got Lloyd Expressway out there, and a pretty quiet Friday evening across the city with a temperature of 44. We're actually up 2 degrees in the last hour. I think the winds are still kind of brisk, not allowing the temperature to drop quickly. So they're still northeasterly at 13 and hanging out between about 40 to 45. But as the winds continue to let up, we should wind up somewhere in the low 30s by daybreak tomorrow morning. Well, the big storm that produced the tornadoes in the deep south and parts of the southeast yesterday is gone. Just some lingering low-level moisture down there, and those clouds pulled out of the area this morning. And now high pressure is building in, and that's just going to give us some beautiful weather right on through the weekend. So not a lot to look at here on future trackers. Sunny skies tomorrow. After that chilly start, high temperatures will warm up to the lower 60s, so about 5 degrees warmer than today. You'll still need a jacket tomorrow night as we drop back into the 40s during the evening, and then mid-30s by sunup on Sunday, which will feature, again, lots of sunshine. But in the afternoon, some mid to high-level clouds will come in from the west, but they're not really going to amount to all that much, and high temperatures will warm into the mid-60s. We won't stop there. Partly cloudy on Sunday night, and then on Monday, mix of sun and clouds. The day will be dry and even warmer with a breezy high in the upper 60s before some scattered showers and thunder showers move in on Tuesday. So clear skies overnight, 30 to 34. Sunny skies tomorrow, not nearly as windy and a little warmer, 60 to 63 for the high. Sunday, sunshine with some clouds later in the afternoon, 65 for the high. Mix of sun and clouds Monday, a breezy 68. 2 weather aware tags for next week. Tuesday, scattered showers and thunder showers. Not too concerned about severe weather with this system, 67. We dry out for Wednesday, and Thursday may be more of a general rain across the area with a high temperature of 62. But hopefully our pattern will again quiet down just in time for the upcoming weekend. So next week looks a little active. Doesn't look as stormy as this week, but the weekend, Brad and Shelley, is going to be a nice one.
And we'll enjoy it. Thank you, Wayne.